What's up, everybody? This is The Truth Hurts. Back at it. Dun 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 dun. Listen, today I want to talk about magic. High magic. Not the kind of magic we see from David Copperfield. I'm talking about dark, ancient magic from the magicians, the real magicians. What is magic? Magic is the practice of beliefs, rituals, and actions which are said to control and manipulate either natural or supernatural beings and forces. Think about that. All the elements of these man-made religions are also present in magic. Practices, beliefs, and rituals designed to manipulate. Open your eyes. Realize what we're dealing with. In the Bible, the book of Daniel deals with magicians. Moses encounters magicians in Egypt. In fact, the Bible is riddled with tales of magicians and magic. So you do realize in those days the magicians were usually priests and some of the most powerful people in the kingdom. Ruling in the shadows, owning the ear of the king. Throughout history, these magicians have become pretty famous. Characters like Merlin from King Arthur and the Knights of the Round Table. King Solomon of the Bible was a magician. Pythagoras, Simon Magus, Zoroaster, the Witch of Endor, then in the Middle Ages there was Nostradamus, Paracelsus, even Sir Walter Raleigh of the cigarette fame. Then there was the magician to the Queen, John Dee. John Dee was an astronomer, astrologer, teacher, alchemist, occultist, and advisor to Queen Elizabeth in the 16th century. Some even suggest Ian Fleming's James Bond was modeled after John Dee, who was the Queen's spy. When you consider the coded way in which John Dee would send manuscripts to the Queen, it's easy to see why. Point is, every civilization practiced magic. From Sumeria to Africa to Europe and the Americas. Magic has been a part of our fabric of society as long and as extensive as religion, politics, and education. It's just never been pushed as a social construct like the others. It's always been held in secret, in rituals, in seances, and secret societies. The one common thread throughout history is that magic has always been in the hands of the elite. The only time we get to actually experience it is at a David Copperfield performance, or the card trick your uncle shows you at every family function. Though this, by definition, is magic, the magic I'm talking about doesn't happen in front of an audience. It doesn't look for applause. In fact, its very function is to go unnoticed. And for the most part, it does. If you remember the definition of magic, you remember that it's ritual and actions that seek to manipulate and control. And it's heavy on belief. So with that as our backdrop, let's examine how the elite has been using magic to manipulate and control us. Fire and ice. Fire and ice as a spell should be known by any practicing witches and warlocks, as magic has always involved nature and the four elements: earth, wind, water, and fire. But the fire and ice in their magic involves the red and the blue, or the two opposing forces, the duality. You see, there's a double-minded theology taking place. The misapplication of the as above, so below system, and the insidious lie that black is white and vice versa. That good and evil are the same thing. That cold and hot are two, but truly one and the same. They use sex magic and sex rituals, the tarot cards of the witch, alchemy, and Jewish Kabbalism. We are woefully encrusted in all types of magic that form our opinions, lace our religions, and create our science and biology. We still offer child sacrifices to their god Moloch in the form of abortion. We still celebrate their satanic high holidays, with Christmas, Easter, and Halloween being just a few examples. There was this famous mystic, magician, and highly decorated Freemason, Aleister Crowley, and his child sex magic in the form of pedophilia and murder. Men like Satanist Albert Pike, who helped to create the Ku Klux Klan. There's Hermeticism, where the idea of the secret was formed. You know, if you pay attention close enough to the secret, you should be able to spot the poison. It sounds good with all of its positive thinking jive, but look closer and you realize it moves the Most High into a secondary position or eliminates him completely. It's pure Satanism dressed up as the universe. Now, I mentioned the colors red and blue as the occultic key to the fire and ice. Blue being the calm and orderly, representing peace and protection, like the boys in blue. But peace for who? And protection from what? Then there's the red, which is passion, sex, and lust. Also violence and war. You can notice these things playing out in real time as well as you glance back at history. It is, as you say, pure magic. Understand, this magic is no respecter of race, gender, age, political affiliation, or religion. It permeates every segment of society. The magic is the true matrix. Listen, I'm not racist. And this magic isn't about race, yet it uses race in its ritual. Money is a big tool in the ritual of these magicians. In fact, the greatest instruments used in the alchemic occult magic is money and media. With the television being the fool's gold. But before we delve into how the magic works, I want to give you some examples of the magic in action. There's no other, quote, unquote, secret military project more known or talked about than MK Ultra. For those who maybe don't know, MK Ultra was a CIA military program launched in the 1950s. Project was all about mind control, using unwitting humans as guinea pigs with forms of psychological torture like sleep and sensory deprivation, physical restraint, verbal and mental abuse, and other insidious forms of illegal experiment, including hypnosis. If you watch the movie Manchurian Candidate, you'll get a better sense of how this shit works. They have been studying our brains for ages. How thoughts are formed, why we dream, how fear and the will to survive can be manipulated what emotions are and how they can be artificially created. And they use it against us every day to keep us fighting, keep us afraid, and to keep our natural vibration very low. Now let's talk about the magic of money. Do you want to know the real purpose of money? Okay, real quick. How many of you believe you need money to survive? If any of you answered affirmative, you just gave us the first example of this magic. This planet is populated by biological entities that have been here for thousands of years and wouldn't know a penny from a bar of gold. How do they survive without money? No need to answer. The obvious truth is no. No, you don't need money to survive. Money is nothing but a tool of bribery designed to get us to do all sorts of unnatural acts at the bidding of those who control it. The magicians. You're trained to respond to that alarm clock every morning to get up and go make money. You never make enough money to not have to get up. No. Just enough to keep you coming back. Still, that's just a byproduct of money. The true purpose of money was to create debt. See, in a natural environment, your only true debt would be to the Most High, not to the gas company or the cable company. They put us in a compromised position where we feel as though we have to do certain things, or you'll starve, or become homeless, or worse, die. You can't afford to stop and think. If you do, you'll fall behind. In a real way, this thing gets spiritual. You find yourself praying to the Most High for this satanic, alchemy-based paper. You compromise morals, ethics, and our kinship with humanity for this fool's gold. We place spiritual value on a piece of paper that, in all actuality, has zero value. This is magic. We're still convinced that we operate in a democracy that is by the people and for the people, even though deep down you know this isn't true. For some of us, if our wife, girlfriend, boyfriend, husband, or whatever lies to us, we go through this drama-filled, "You've broken the trust," or "If I can't trust you, I can't be with you." Yet, we allow the government to lie to us 10 times a day. Every day. This is magic. A real-time example is this so-called pandemic. These people use the media to flood the airwaves with this coronavirus and death to get us to vibrate a certain way, to move a certain way, like cattle. We're headed to a cashless society, and the coronavirus is just one of these magicians' tools to see that to fruition. See, it's much easier to control 7 billion people on a computer. Easier to monitor. It's funny how conveniently this coincides with 5G and the completion of this new quantum computer. The quantum computer, compared to our binary computer, is like night and day. This isn't the next phase of the binary. This is something completely different. It's like comparing a candle to a light bulb. Yeah, they both give off light, but folks, we're dealing with high magic. They don't create order out of chaos. They put chaos on top of order and convince you differently. Man was to be governed by the Most High, not greedy corporate executives who follow Satanism. Abortion, drug abuse, homosexuality, child porn. These are all rituals to this satanic group. Yet so are the religious retreats we go on, the altar calls, donating to the poor. If you're not trying to understand how and why we have a impoverished segment in our societies, what you're doing is mere folly. They have taken what is known as a technosphere and placed it on top of our natural biosphere. They're cloning carrots. I mean, damn, is anybody paying attention? No. And that's the magic. This planet could survive without us, thrive without us. We didn't need to do much, just till the ground. We've gotten so far away from that. Let's talk about this magic as a working construct. Fire and ice, red and blue, pink and baby blue, black and white, the rainbow, everything I just named is symbolism and a tool to the magicians. If I asked you who was this room designed for, most of us would say a girl. Now, what about this room? Obviously a boy, right? These things are universal. But where did you learn them from? The fact is, you didn't decide this for yourself, did you? How many other ideas have we accepted at face value without even thinking about it? Or being targeted because you actually do think about it? Words like conspiracy, Christianity, Islam, flat earth, and patriot have spells on them. They elicit an automatic emotion or idea in your mind. The word racist or prejudice is a spellbinding word or words. They drop these words at convenient times to infuriate, incapacitate, or regulate our thought process. They force you to pick a side with their spell casting. Then they work you like puppets once you do. All this talk of voting. There will not be a president who they don't want in office, okay? Plain and simple. And that president is there for some nefarious reason, but it won't be an accident. Don't waste your time trying to figure out why. Just know it's not to benefit you. This is high magic, man. The Revolutionary War was fought between, come on, the red coats and the blue coats. You see the red and blue in the Civil War. In our democracy, you have the red and the blue. The girl-boy scheme, the colors, is watered down blue and watered down red, or the act of mixing white with both colors. You can even go in the hood and see this red versus the blue. It's always the duality that makes the magic go. They just need us to pick a side. So why do they allow us to vote if our vote means nothing? The voting is a ritual. Your participation completes the magic. You see, none of their magic works without your participation. Take our financial institutions. If we stopped participating, stopped accepting paper money, what would happen? When a magician does a trick at home with no one watching, is it magic? To who? The magician knows how it's done, so it certainly isn't magic to him or her. Hollywood has some of the biggest magicians in occult magic on the planet. And not just Penn and Teller. In fact, they're child's play compared to men like Stanley Kubrick, Steven Spielberg, and Cecil B. DeMille. And what about the directors of The Matrix? The Wachowski brothers. Well, they're the Wachowski sisters now, as both men have become trannies. Do you even know why they call it Hollywood? The magic wand that you see all the popular wizards using is made of wood from the holly tree. Thus, you get Hollywood. Magic happening MGM style. But the Wizard of Oz was the first clue. That man's magic is really nothing but higher technology. Too high for the average Joe to comprehend. That's because there's no such thing as real magic. It's all smoke and mirrors, lies and deception, illusions. The biggest thing I want you to take from this is they're playing us. They're controlling our thoughts, actions, and emotions through their pseudo magic. But please, don't take my word for it. Do your own research. Listen, we all have a part to play in this diabolical paradigm that has turned us all against each other. Your educational institutions are flawed. The media was bought off a long time ago. The justice system has no justice. And the media, the medical industry preys on our sickness. But really, it's our own fault. We keep allowing the magic to work because we keep paying attention. Until we investigate this system and do our own soul searching, these things will never, ever change. It doesn't matter who's driving the car when they both have the same destination in mind. You know, Babylon was known to have some of the greatest magicians in the world in biblical times. They were called the Magi, the Chaldeans. Their magic still lives to this very day. That's why the call to this very day is, come out of her. Who is her? Right? Who is her? The whore who has relations with all the merchants of the world. Babylon, which is a code word. Please, don't let your undying loyalty cause you to die spiritually. You can love the people in the world, but still not love this world system. Have a good day, my friends.